DROWNS.
Crime. A Tennessee woman is charged with first-degree murder after allegedly drowning her 7-year-old daughter for not leaving her alone. BRANDI ELLIOT told police she was having a bad day and just needed time alone. But when her daughter wouldn't stop bothering her, she took little Piper across the street to a lake and drowned her. According to court documents, ELLIOT claimed that she held the girl underwater until she felt her bubbling and told her to be quiet. Nick Barris from Scripps News Nashville has more.
This is a park and greenway in Hendersonville along Old Hickory Lake where a mother and daughter would often come and walk, maybe feed the ducks. But what happened this time was almost beyond comprehension.
It's extremely shocking. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Hendersonville police arrested 33-year-old BRANDI ELLIOT on Saturday. She is charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 7-year-old daughter, Piper. ELLIOT told officers she wanted time alone after having a rough day, but that Piper would not leave her alone. So ELLIOT took her across the street to the lake and admitted to holding the child's head underwater until she stopped breathing. Piper later died at the hospital.
It's not like the BRANDI that we knew.
Deanna Sartain is a friend of Elliott's, having worked with her for several years, and she knew Piper.
She was always smiling. She was just a very vivacious child.
Sartain says that on Saturday, Elliot took Piper to visit her father in the hospital, and everything seemed fine.
They went there, and Piper had colored him some pages for him to put on the wall. And then 2 hours later, Piper had passed away.
Police say murdered by her own mother. Is there any way you could explain this? What do you think could have led her to do this?
Yeah, I keep analyzing it, and there's nothing, Nick. There's nothing I just don't get it.
This case is horrifying. Now, this morning, we're asking the question, what would make a mother seemingly snap like this? We've got a great power panel standing by. Let's welcome them in now. Criminal defense attorney and former prosecutor Michael J. Brown, entertainment reporter Kinsey Schofield, and trial attorney and law professor Dante Mills. Great to see you all. This is just horrifying, as you all know, and heartbreaking. Kinsey, would you start off our conversation, please, with your thoughts?
Absolutely. I mean, some good news is that the community is really rallying around the child's father, John Elliott. According to friends, his little girl meant everything to him. John is a disabled military vet. He was injured as a Marine. He's been hospitalized and was in critical care when this incident happened. He's since been moved into a regular hospital. His friends are collecting donations through GoFundMe for funeral arrangements, but Julie, also for basic everyday needs. With his wife in jail, it sounds like she perhaps was maybe the only caretaker he had at home, and she's no longer available to him. So I'm wondering, could this be one of BRANDI ELLIOT's mitigating factors? Was she overwhelmed caring for both her husband and her child, working at McDonald's? I mean, was she stressed about medical debt? And just at the end of the day, overwhelmed. It's no excuse, but it does sound like she had a very difficult home life.
Kinsey, thank you for that. That's a really great point and a great question for our lawyer guests, Dante and Michael. So let's talk about that, being, the sole caretaker and having it come to this, the death of one's own child. Dante, to you first, please, on this one. Might that be a mitigator?
It may be a mitigating factor, but there's other things that counterbalance it, like the fact that she said when her daughter was 2, something similar happened. She said she snapped when she was 2, but then realized that it was postpartum depression. However, when you had that act where she almost hurts her child before, there should have been some kind of monitoring, because that's a warning sign. And the fact that it was possible to happen again, which in fact it did. So you wonder if she had those issues before, why she wasn't getting some kind of mental treatment or constantly under some kind of observation. It's also interesting that her attorney declined to have her evaluated, declined to have her mental health evaluated. I don't know why they would do that, because seemingly the only defense here is going to be that she lost it in that moment, and that she has some mental issues. So I'm curious to see where this goes as to an excuse why this happened or some kind of mitigating factor, because we know she committed this murder, but the why, I think everybody is just curious to know because it's such a horrible, horrible crime.
Absolutely, Dante, you're right. And I'm so good you mentioned that about the mental competency. Michael J. Brown, I've saved this question for you. So we have the clip where both sides, Brandi Elliott's attorney and the prosecution, both said, we're going to decline that eval. And as Dante said, it's kind of questionable as to why they would say that, because we know that she was diagnosed with postpartum depression. She told the judge that she was diagnosed with postpartum when Piper was 2 years old. Had that diagnosis. She told the court that at her arraignment on Tuesday. Let's listen to what was said by the attorneys.
My question to you, have you ever been under the care of a mental health professional?
When my daughter was 2, I kind of lost it, like I did this time, and I had postpartum depression, and they gave me medicine for it, and I was having a really bad time with sleeping, and I was working at the Gap.
So you were under the care of a mental health professional at one point.
After they just gave me medicine, and I went to Centennial
Okay, all right.
for postpartum depression.
Mr. James, or state, do you wish to have Ms. Elliott evaluated for mental competency at this time, or mental evaluation of reason? I do not, Your Honor. From the state?
Okay, so competency and insanity at the time of an offense are two different inquiries. Michael J. Brown, would you speak to this, please, and tell us what you think may be going on, what may be the attorney's strategy for this mother?
Yeah, good morning, everybody. I agree. Julia hit the nail on the head. Two different things. So I think it's clear from the interaction we just saw that she's competent at the moment to understand the nature and gravity of the charges and the proceeding that's going on. The mental disease defect or the insanity aspect is really about what happened at the moment when this crime, if it was committed. That's completely different. So I agree with the defense attorney in the sense of let's delay things. Let's just take a breath. Let's look at some of the evidence that they may have, and certainly at some point down the road, we can potentially put the claim in, the notice in for this defense, and we can have an expert evaluate her. But it doesn't need to be done at that very moment.
Michael, appreciate it. So in terms of other steps, let's keep it going. Other steps her team might be taking right now to look to, as you said, the insanity defense down the road. Dante, some other ideas, some thoughts on what they may be doing to try to help mitigate, as Kinsey said, these horrific circumstances of this child's death?
Given the nature of the facts and because she confessed essentially to committing this crime, giving the details of it, it's no doubt that she was the one who committed this murder. What she should be doing, what her attorney should be doing, is negotiating for her life to be spared and no death penalty because she's eligible for it. And the prosecutor in this case just confirmed that they knew she was eligible for it, that they were going to seek the death penalty. But because it's an option, I think her attorney should at least have the inquiry and question the prosecutors as to whether or not there's a way that they can negotiate this down, have some kind of plea deal where her life is spared. I think that has to be a conversation because there's no way outside of an evaluation that proves that in that moment she did have that temporary insanity for the moment. I think outside of that, there's really no way for her to be found innocent or not guilty of this. So you're going to negotiate down for the best option for sentencing moving forward.
Right. Dante, thank you for all of that. Yes. Kinsey, on the other side of this, of course, anyone in the public reads this story and is horrified, just horrified. Probably hard to find sympathy, for this mother like this who's blessed with this beautiful child, little Piper, has her best years ahead of her. And then she kills her and admits to it, tells police what happened, as Dante noted. The public sentiment, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in terms of sentiment. Is there any understanding for perhaps a mental health problem at the time?
I'm not seeing that yet, and maybe people need some time to digest this. But right now people are saying, "Can you not go in your bathroom and lock the door?" I mean, what could you not go in the garage and just scream? The fact that she took it really feels like there was some thought put into this, which I think is what breaks everyone's hearts. But again, so much sympathy for the father, John. Over 100 people have contributed to this GoFundMe. He's 50% to his goal. And unfortunately, they couldn't have the service for her funeral service, until he's released from the hospital. We expect that to be within the next 2 weeks.
Kinsey, thank you for all of that information. Michael J. Brown, would you take us home, please? When you have a case like this, and you're defending it, it's high profile, and you're certainly no stranger to high profile cases, and you have a child victim, how does that kind of worsen things in terms of the optics surrounding the case?
It's horrible, Julie. I mean, you're dealing with, there's nothing more innocent in terms of a victim than a child. They did absolutely nothing wrong. It's her own child, which just accelerates and aggravates the situation tenfold. It's horrific. But, we have a job to do. Dante and I do this every day. And when you have a situation like this, you obviously concede that the act itself is horrible, but you do your best to mitigate. In this particular case, she had this postpartum depression in the past. She may have some, and again, it's not an excuse, it's not a defense, but in terms of mitigation, there may be some type of mental issue that the mom has had. I don't understand how else she could have committed this act. And you do your best, as Dante pointed out earlier, to save her life. If the evidence is all there, which it appears to be at first blush, so you do your best to just mitigate the circumstances.
And Michael, thank you for that really informative conversation with you all. Of course, our hearts go out to Precious Piper Elliott and everyone who loved her. We'll continue.
All right.
Maybe feed the ducks. But what happened this time was almost beyond comprehension.
It's extremely shocking. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it.
Hendersonville police arrested 33-year-old BRANDI ELLIOT on Saturday. She is charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 7-year-old daughter, Piper. ELLIOT told officers she wanted time alone after having a rough day, but that Piper would not leave her alone. So ELLIOT took her across the street to the lake and admitted to holding the child's head underwater until she stopped breathing.
Let's stop right there. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vol XL. This is live number 2. So we have a 33-year-old female who suffered from postpartum depression and was diagnosed when the child was 2. The child passed away at the age of 7, unalived by the bio mother. We also hear that the father was in the picture. He was in the hospital. Don't know how long he had been in the hospital. Don't know all the details, but I will pull up an article to get more information from the Tennessean. So we're going to ask, how long were the couple together? What type of problems did they have, not have, financial? Does this woman have mental issues besides the postpartum? Will a doctor find that she's still suffering from postpartum? Will she take a plea? Will the death penalty also be offered? What was going on in this woman's life? It puts a new spin on, who she is. Because, you first hear the story, you're like, oh, no, somebody drowned a baby, a kid. And then you hear, okay, she's overwhelmed. She's got this sick husband. She's got a child. Does she have help? No help. Obviously, there's nobody in their lives to assist, because what doesn't make any sense, although the father's in the hospital, where are his parents? Where are his brothers and sisters? Where are her parents? Where are her brothers and sisters? You mean to tell me there's nobody that can navigate on behalf of the father to set up funeral arrangements? Come on now. Really? But see, this is what happens in life. Everybody does not have a support system. This is why a lot of children end up abused in the first place, because of where the parents came from. So we have to dig into the belly of the beast as well. Who is BRANDI ELLIOT? What was her life like? How old was she when she had this child? Subtract 7 from 33. You get 26, 25. Are there other children in her life? Possession? Is this her only child? How long has the father been in the hospital? Do they have some financial burdens? So you have to weigh all that in. The understanding I got from the article I read is that the mother was wanting some alone time And I guess the daughter was wanting to be with the mother. So the mother basically told her, so you want, I'm going to give you what you want. So then that statement, I pray she did not say that to the police, because obviously she did talk to the police. You tell the police that, you are just fried, because now that shows you're competent in your conversation. That you can repeat back the conversation you had with the child, something about leaving the child alone. So you took the child across the street. So basically you took the child across the street and the guy said, okay, I want to spend time with you. But yet when you get across the street, you take the child to a lake, creek, or whatever and drown the child. So to say to an officer, detective, whoever, I gave her what she wanted. That's going to make a person think, you may have had postpartum. Now, don't know. But to say that shows premeditation. And that's where there is a problem, as you heard mentioned here in this commentary on Court TV. That's why it's best you don't speak to a lawyer when you do anything. Speak to detectives, especially when you're dealing with homicide. Best you don't talk. You let your lawyer navigate for you in the court system. The fact that they didn't want to evaluate her is strange to me. She seemed like she really couldn't gather her thoughts to talk to the judge and just say, yes, I've been under care of a doctor. She was trying to get it out. Yeah, I have taken meds before. You've got to talk when you're in that courtroom, because they're watching everything you do, how you act, how you talk, your demeanor. You got to be steadfast, because you have been accused of killing your child. So you need to say, yes, I have suffered from postpartum. Yes, I've been depressed. Yes, I took meds at this time, that time. Yes, I'm currently on medications. You also saw her crying in the courtroom. So do you believe she has remorse? Do you believe she just snapped, overwhelmed with a child wanting to do this, wanting to do that, wanting to be under mommy? Now I've got this man who can't help provide because he's hurt, sick, don't know the circumstances for which got him into the hospital. I would do a little more digging. Just found the story, because naturally with all the things that have been going on in the past week, I didn't see any notifications for this crime until before going live. Very, very interesting information. So, weigh in. Was she aware of her faculties? People are going to say, looks like premeditation, because you walked her out from your location, which was your apartment, home, whichever house, and then you took her over to another destination and deliberately drowned her. So what will her defense be? We will see. I'm going to go to my community page, and I want to pull up Nashville's news on the original story. Thank you for joining me. Lord, and then of all places for this crime to take place, Hendersonville, Tennessee. Could have happened anywhere in the world. There of all places. Lord have mercy. Damn. But that's the point. Crime is everywhere. And no one is exempt from crime, being a victim or a perpetrator. Everything's a choice, of course, you being a perpetrator. News 5 is the source. Content was uploaded 4 days ago. Let's get down to the belly of the beast. This commentary. Tried to find the latest information I could find. Hold on, everybody. I don't know why this is not playing. Hold on. I can't see him. I'm in pitch darkness. It makes it easier to I don't know why the volume. Oh.
Head around it.
Hendersonville police arrested 33-year-old BRANDI ELLIOT.
Let's go back.
This is a park and greenway in Hendersonville along Old Hickory Lake, where a mother and daughter would often come and walk, maybe feed the ducks. But what happened this time was almost beyond comprehension.
It's extremely shocking. Still trying to wrap my head around it.
Hendersonville police arrested 33-year-old Brandi Elliott on Saturday. She is charged with first-degree murder in the death of her 7-year-old daughter, Piper. Elliott told officers she wanted time alone after having a rough day, but that Piper would not leave her alone. So Elliott took her across the street to the lake and admitted to holding the child's head underwater until she stopped breathing. Piper later died at the hospital.
It's not like the Brandi that we knew.
Deanna Sartain is a friend of Elliott's, having worked with her for several years, and she knew Piper.
She was always smiling. She was just a very vivacious child.
Sartain says that on Saturday, Elliott took Piper to visit her father in the hospital, and everything seemed fine.
They went there, and Piper had colored him some pages for him to put on the wall. And then 2 hours later, Piper had passed away.
Police say murdered by her own mother. Is there any way you can explain this? What do you think could have led her to do this?
I keep analyzing it, and there's nothing, Nick. There's nothing that's, I just don't get it.
Again, Elliott is charged with first-degree murder and is currently locked up in the Sumner County Jail without bond. It's worth noting that the murder of a child under 13 is an aggravating circumstance for a potential death penalty case.
Wow.
In Hendersonville, Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Death penalty. Weigh in. I've brought you a lot of commentary in the past couple months pertaining to Tennessee laws. Woo, we have a lot of laws here new on the books, and a lot of people are not happy with a lot of the laws, especially the LGBTQ laws and laws pertaining to sexual assault against children. Once again, this under 13 age limit pertaining to assault of a child, automatic recommendation of the death penalty for any type of sexual assault against a child, which I am all for that. You abuse a child sexually. I don't really care what the age is, quite frankly, but that's just the law. That's the number they gave, under 13. You recommended for the death penalty, okay? That's a new Tennessee law. So here we have a mother who, wigged out, suffers from postpartum depression. Was she currently on medicine? Number one. Does she have any other type of mental disorders? Will we find out she has other mental disorders? Bipolar, dissociative personality, schizophrenia? What does she have? Any other episodes recently? Acting out, lashing out, cussing, fussing, leaving the child alone, unattended, dropping the child off somewhere, not coming back for hours or at the designated time. The fact that she wanted to leave her alone in the house, people would question that because people do feel, funny about leaving children alone. So why did she want to leave her alone on that day? Is it because she had things on her mind? Something triggered her when she went to the hospital? And I think that's very interesting, the timeline of the events. This woman here, who's a friend of hers, said she took her to the hospital. She took the child to the hospital. They visited the father. What happened in that visit at the hospital? Because that may also play a role in what happened when they got back to the apartment. What happened at the hospital? The child is coloring, painting pictures, but what was the dynamic between the wife and the husband? Were they talking? Were they receptive? Was he able to talk? So, all that's going to matter. What was his state mentally himself as far as his conversation to Brandi? What did they talk about while they were visiting one another? Lord have mercy. Where are the family members? Jesus wept. Where were the family members? But as I said, a lot of people just don't have that dynamic. Some people are fortunate to have friends, family, good friends, good family members, people who are loyal to them, support them. Everybody don't have that. And I'm wondering if perhaps these people don't have that. So that would be a bad situation, even if the child did not perish. Not to have any type of support. People need support regardless if you have children or not. But when you have children, you need a support system. You need some family members around. Not saying, to use them as a babysitter or gopher for, keeping your child, but it helps to have help. This is why a lot of people fall by the wayside with children, because they don't have any help. You got to count their mental state, where they came from, how they were raised. the dynamics of how they live growing up. Now they're young, having children, not prepared. Maybe didn't want the kid, but kept the kid. So you have to ask all those types of questions. How long these two were together in a relationship? When did they get married? What their life has been like with this little girl. We hear that he's in the military. He's in the military. So you got to ask all those questions. So that means she's probably been alone a long time with a kid. She's 7 years old. Imagine he's been in the military that entire time. So now she's been alone with a kid with no help. Possibly not having a lot of friends, family members to step in to say, hey, I'll keep the baby. You go out and have a good time or some alone time. And it is overwhelming raising children, number one, whether you have help or don't have help. It's overwhelming. Definitely you don't have any help. There's nobody to come by to call. Hi, hey, how you doing? You need anything? Hey, would you like to go to the movies? Hey, I'll take your kid to the movies. There's people who don't have that. And I'm not here to make any excuses about what happened because naturally this is a terrible, terrible death, murder of a child. But was she in her right frame of mind at the time of the murder? Some will probably say yes, she was, because she told the child, or she said to the detectives, I'm going to give her what she wants. Did she say that to the child? Okay, you keep bothering me, messing with me. I want some alone time. Leave me alone. Okay, come on, let's go take a walk over here to this lake. Dear God, what was she saying while she's drowning the baby? I don't think I want to know. This is horrific. But we have people who are suffering from mental illness. And that's the point. Were there signs? Is there somebody else that can say, yeah, I saw signs that something wasn't right with this lady? Because possibly there were signs. I'm going to go into this information. She's been charged first-degree murder after reportedly drowning her daughter in Drake's Creek on Saturday. So almost a week. I'm going to read you information from the Tennessean. That is a very popular newspaper here in my state pertaining to the information. Middle Tennessee mom charged in connection with child's drowning death in Drake's Creek. Try to bring you everything I can hear, because I definitely don't want to hear no gossip, because I'm sure folks are already on that. The mother of a 7-year-old girl has been arrested after the girl drowned in Drake's Creek over the weekend. Hendersonville police responded to the scene near Sanders Ferry Road after authorities were notified of the drowning on Saturday, according to a release. Investigators said they found that BRANDI, ELLIOT, 33, was responsible for her daughter's death. ELLIOT was taken to the Sumner County Jail Sunday and charged with first-degree murder. She is being jailed without bond. Anyone with information about the incident is asked to call the Hendersonville Police Department, 615-822-1111, or the Hendersonville Crime Stoppers, 615-594-4113. That's not the article I'm looking for. I'm seeing there was something else that I saw. Hold on, you guys. Saw something else. Hold on. It was a longer article. 5 days. True crime. There was an article that I saw. Let me see if this is the one, because they had more information in it. Whew, wow, what a case already. Mother charged with drowning girl in Drake's Creek after rough day. Let me see if this is the one. This is 33-year-old BRANDI ELLIOT, confessed to murder for a 7-year-old child. ELLIOT told officers she left her apartment and went to the bottom of the stairwell, but her daughter came to join her. The girl reportedly refused to leave ELLIOT alone and did not want to stay at the apartment by herself. So did the mother often walk out of the apartment to think, smoke a cigarette, whatever, and the daughter would come in behind her, Mommy, where are you going? I want to talk to you. Where are you going? Don't leave me alone. How often did this go on? Because I got a feeling it probably went on for a while. And a while could be 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, don't know. We will see what neighbors have to say pertaining to what went on inside the household, because we know that somebody's going to tell the business. Just a matter of what is the truth or not. Investigators said Elliot then took the girl to a greenway across the street. Elliot told the officers she held her daughter under the water like a large-mouth bass in a shallow area off the greenway. Who's writing this? Until she felt her bubbling, according to court documents. She also reportedly told the girl to be quiet while she held her under the water. Sweet Jesus, what am I reading? I want to know where they're getting this. Told officers she held her daughter under the water like a large-mouth bass. That don't sound good. That don't sound good at all. Yeah, she should have never talked to the police. She don't got no sense. Once she pulled the girl from the water, Elliot reportedly said she realized she had done something wrong and tried to revive her with CPR. The girl was taken to Hendersonville Hospital and was pronounced dead around 11:45 p.m. 11:45. So this was at nighttime, all this going on. Wow, interesting. Elliot was charged with first-degree murder and is being held at the Sumner County Jail. A memorial has already been set up for the girl along the greenway near where her mother allegedly drowned her. News 2 spoke with people who know the Elliott family on Monday. They said they are in disbelief that Brandi Elliott could do such a thing. I was in shock. I couldn't believe she would do something like this, said Jasmine Emery, a co-worker of Brandi's, who met Brandi's daughter several times. I believe this is the same lady that was talking to WKRN and information on Court TV. She loved her daughter more than anything in the world, and she was her everything. It's crazy to think that she is gone now. Once again, said information to call, if you have information, 615-265-5303 or Hendersonville Crime Stoppers, 615-594-4113. I really wish that everybody would just help John Elliott out, Emery said. He's a military veteran. He needs the help. So what happened to the husband for him to be disabled? I'm curious. GoFundMe page has been launched to help the girl's father, John Elliott, to donate to the page. You can click here, right there in this article. Feel free. Go back up so you know where to go in case you're not familiar with GoFundMe's. WKRN.com. They probably should have it up on their website if you want to donate to the family. This is some weird stuff going on here. Because I'm trying to figure out where is the family. The fact they said he can't have a funeral because he's in the hospital. So what's wrong with him? How is he disabled? Why is he disabled? How long has he been in the hospital? How long has this debacle been going on? Did they live anywhere else in the United States? Have they traveled around because he's in the military? What's been going on with this family? Any other children? Hello, Luminous. Thank you all so much for joining me. Very interesting. Woo, Lord, Hendersonville. Damn, could have been anywhere else. Hendersonville. I'm trying to find the article that I read, something about the father. So I've read the Tennessean for WSMV. Trying to find this article that I'm looking for. I can't find it. There was something else in there that was repeated. I'm trying to figure it out. Okay. So this happened July 13th, last Saturday. Very infamous day in history. After investigating what occurred, the detectives said they determined the mother, 33-year-old BRANDI ELLIOT, was at
Child
fault.
drowned in Hendersonville, and police
Oh,
say that her
sorry.
mom is to blame. We're talking about BRANDI ELLIOT. She's
Sorry
now
about that.
charged with first-degree murder. Police say that they were called to Drake's Creek near Sanders Ferry Road for reports of a child drowning on Saturday. Well, police have not yet said why they arrested ELLIOT, but she was booked into the Sumner County Jail.
Don't say why. Well, I think we know why now. Let me finish this content. They determined that she was at fault, having a rough day, that her daughter wasn't leaving her alone, according to the arrest report. ELLIOT then told police she held her daughter underwater like a largemouth bass until she felt her bubbling. I just can't believe she said this. This is crazy to me. Why in the hell would you tell the police this? She told the daughter to be quiet. Oh, Lord have mercy. Realized something was wrong, tried to revive the child, give her CPR. 7-year-old was taken to a nearby hospital in Hendersonville where she was pronounced dead just before midnight, July 13th. The mom is in the Sumner County Jail. There's another article, and I've got it somewhere else. There's something else was said about this story. Everybody's repeating the same thing. I'm trying to figure out where is it. Because I heard it was something else I read about this case. Tennessee. Wow. Drake's Creek. Woo! What a story. What a story. 4 days ago to Tennessee. Let me see, that was 4 days ago. Maybe 2 days ago would be better. The Tennessee. It might be this one. Let me see if it says anything different. Hello, everybody in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Very baffling story coming out of Middle Tennessee. I'm just checking all the contents. Different things. Every article is going to have something different. There it is right there. This is the one I was looking for. Her daughter Piper, not wanting to stay at the residence by herself, refused to leave her mother alone, the documents say, noting that BRANDI ELLIOT took the girl across the street and began to walk the greenway. The woman told police since the victim would not give her what she wanted, time alone, that she would give the victim what she wanted, the documents read. BRANDI ELLIOT had just celebrated her birthday 2 days before the incident, records show. Kip Zemer, a friend of the family, said the mother and daughter visited ELLIOT's husband, John, at a hospital where he was being treated for a medical issue hours before the girl's drowning death. John ELLIOT remained hospitalized Wednesday, his friends said. He posted about his daughter on social media after learning of her death. Piper ELLIOT is a new angel in heaven. A beautiful angel was taken before she could begin her journey through life. May the arms of the angels in heaven wrap their wings around her and guide her through the gates of heaven. Piper, you are loved and missed, John ELLIOT wrote in a Facebook post. Wow. This is from a Nashville psychologist, Dr. David McMillan, pertaining to this, talking about seeing cases like this before pertaining to BRANDI. Cases involving parents who are accused of killing their children are more about why a parent hasn't grown up instead of why someone could do such an awful thing, McMillan told the Tennessean. He said it comes down to impulse control. You may have had a brother or sister and wanted to kill them. Children have those feelings, and certainly all children are a pain in the behind, and it's difficult to be a parent. It's a really hard job, said McMillan, psychologist for over 40 years. While there's no instruction manual to be a parent, McMillan believes a parent who kills their child lacks the ability to put their children first before his or her own needs, he said. She's just like all of us, McMillan said of BRANDI ELLIOT. We're all capable of doing really bad things. Now, some people probably disagree and say, well, I wouldn't kill my kid even on my worst day. Well, everyone's entitled to his or her opinion. Court records show Brandi Elliott told investigators that she told her daughter to be quiet while she held her under the water. Brandi Elliott said she realized she had done something wrong and tried to revive her daughter with CPR after pulling the girl from the water, the document said, but it was too late. Piper Elliott was taken by ambulance to TriStar Hendersonville Medical Center, where she was pronounced dead shortly before noon on Saturday. So now we're getting different times. Noon, then 12. So noon. I thought first it made it sound like it was at nighttime. Okay. Zimmer said he's known Elliott family for 10 years. He set up the GoFundMe account to support John Elliott. Zimmer said he is still in disbelief after hearing the allegations against Brandi Elliott. For now, Zimmer said he's regularly visiting the Elliott home to take care of the family dog and has offered to let John Elliott stay with him until he's released from the hospital. Well, that's very noble of you. There was no specific timeline on when a release might happen. Zimmer's GoFundMe account has raised more than $4,700 to help support John Elliott, a disabled Marine veteran, as of Wednesday afternoon. He's going to need all the help he can get, Zimmer said, adding that he hopes John Elliott can be released from the hospital in time to see his daughter one last time before the funeral. Brandi Elliott remained jailed without bond Wednesday in Sumner County. She's scheduled to appear in Sumner County General Sessions Court July 29th. Anyone with information about the case is asked to call the Hendersonville Police Department once again, 615-822-1111, or the Hendersonville Crime Stoppers at 615-594-4113. Tips can also be submitted by texting the keyword TIP HPD to the number 274-637 crimes. Tennessean is the source of this information. So we have a father in the hospital, don't know all the circumstances pertaining to his health care and why he's in there. Don't know much about their relationship, what was going on with them. Were they happy? Gotta ask that question too. Were these two happy? Just can't have one without the other. Besides having, postpartum mental issues, finances, could be 1,000 things that went on with these people. Don't know for sure what happened here. We just know she drowned the child. She's admitted to killing her child. Wow. Man, what a story. Jesus wept. What in God's name is going on? Let's go over here and see this creek they're talking about. Hello, everybody. Intensive care, I don't know. Everybody writes something different. There's the mother at the top, 33-year-old Brandi Elliott, in custody, Sumner County, without bond. She may also be facing the death penalty if the state decides to put it on the table. Here's a picture of the creek area, or lake, whatever you want to call it, where the child was unalived. Piper, unalived by her mother, last Saturday. I don't know what to say. I'm at a loss of words. So this happened, in the morning? I don't know why I kept thinking it was nighttime for some reason. 15 miles northeast of Nashville. Not that far. Yeah, it said PM. She was pronounced dead at about 11:45 p.m. So the last article said noon. So what is the actual time? Not that it really matters because death is death. I'm just curious. So she's out at night thinking, Lord Jesus, what in the hell is going on? What happened? Let's chop it up. I'll check out of here. 43 minutes into this live stream. Thank you for your time. Brandi Elliott, 33, is unalive with her daughter by drowning. 7-year-old child. Father in the hospital. Veteran. What is wrong with him? In there. What happened to him? Where is the family? Where are the family? You don't hear anybody speaking but a friend and a friend. Are they from Tennessee? New to Tennessee? Don't know. Where are the family members? Why are we not hearing from them? That's what I want to hear. I want to hear from a sister, a brother, a cousin, an auntie. I want to hear from somebody close that's biologically related to both. What does our social media show? You know, everybody likes to dig into social media. What the mother posted. What was her last post? What did she talk about? What did the daddy talk about? Did they get along? Were they happy? See, all those things are going to matter to how she got to that point of saying to herself, I'm going to drown this kid. I'm sick of her bothering me. And I get it. As the doctor says, everybody gets tired, fed up. You could also end up in this situation. Some people would argue and say, no, I'd never kill my kid. Well, I would think some of these parents probably said the same thing. I would never kill my kid. Yeah, I've gotten frustrated, but I would never think of murdering my child. The next thing you know, they're arrested for murder. Because a lot of people say what they would not do. How many people said that in life? I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to do this. I ain't going to mess with a drunk. I ain't going to mess with a crackhead. I ain't going to never go to jail for theft, robbery, fraud. But you end up doing it. Because maybe you got yourself in a situation. You knew it was wrong or you thought it was right. Whatever. You did it anyway. People say, well, you can't compare that to murder. Well, the way people murder people nowadays, it's no different than anything else, any other crime. And let's keep it real. Because people are murdering each other like left, white on right. Every time you look up, somebody's being unalive. Whether they say it was an accident, they blanked out, crime of passion. People are murdering people all the time. When you look at the YouTube queue, it stays busy with stories. You can't even keep up with the unaliving of human beings, missing people. And a lot of them are unalive. We just don't know it yet because the body hasn't surfaced. But there are people just murdering people left and right for all type of crazy ass reasons. So this is why I've been saying the past week, murder is murder. Attempted murder is attempted murder, no matter who it is. People have their own reasons for why they do things. And as I said, there are people who have committed crimes. They were asked in interrogation, why'd you do it? And what did they say? I don't know. I don't know why I did it. So we don't hear that from her. She tells you she was having a rough day. She wanted to be left alone and the little girl wouldn't leave her alone. So this goes back to what I said. If the mother has a job, they say she worked at McDonald's, who was keeping the child when she worked? What was her shift? Morning shift to afternoon to evening? Who kept the child? Because I don't know how long this man's been in the hospital. What's really wrong with him? What's the deal? Because you're not getting much information. What happened to the father? So you got to ask yourself, what happened? What happened? What happened? What happened with the father? Why is he in the hospital? Wow. Cute little girl gone. Look at that water. What I've always told people about drowning. Lake, ocean, rivers, all the same. There's a lot of water to suck down, okay? I don't care if you're 7, if you're 40, if you're 30. You fall in there, you are on your own. Now imagine somebody's holding you down in the water. It's totally different. And there are people who have drowned who can swim. So you have this situation of a child being held underwater deliberately by her own biological mother. It's horrific. It's absolutely horrific. Can't make this up. It's tragic. But as I keep saying, talking about true crime, every day it's a new story, new story, new story. You can't even keep up with the stories. Every day it's something horrific, something tragic with these people hurting each other, harming each other. And yes, people can pop off. People can get damn crunk. Because I know, I can speak from experience. There are just days you just want to wig out. I about had an episode here in my damn self. Not to this magnitude, but that's the thing. Anything can pop off. Because people don't, these people out here are so damn disrespectful. They don't know how to stay in their damn lane. And they're always the ones crying. Why me? Not comparing it to this situation, but just saying. A lot of people, they can egg on some nonsense to where you end up, you could be a news story. We'll leave it at that. You can end up a news story. You get in the right element, you pop off, there you have it. Point of no return. So as you heard this doctor say, impulse control. Exactly. You have got to control how you think, what you say, your responses. Whatever that little girl was saying to her, she should have ignored her. Like somebody said in the court TV segment, why not just go in a room, shut the door? But that wouldn't have been enough. You know why? Because the little girl would have been knocking on the door. Mommy, open the door, let me in. Why are you ignoring me? it wouldn't have stopped there, trust me. That's the reason why she went outside. And then the little girl came and followed her out. Followed her down the stairs. Mommy, what you doing? Why you out here? Why you leave me alone? And the mother just, what? Spazzed out. Was it the father being in the hospital that did this? Pushed her over? Worried that she wasn't going to be able to have help? Financial help? Because I don't really know what was going on with the father. So maybe that's what she was thinking at the time. I'm fucked right now. I'm screwed up. I ain't going to get no help from this man. He's in this hospital. I don't know how long he's going to be in there. We don't know if they had medical insurance or not for him. See, all those things may have been playing on her mind. Not to excuse what she did, but who's to say? She became overwhelmed because, see, I don't know her relationship with the husband, what they've been through. Did they get along? Was she really bonding with her daughter? Because this lady says, oh, she meant the world to her. But then somebody's going to say, well, she couldn't have meant the world to her because she just drowned her. How does she mean the world to her and she drowned her kid? You know, somebody's going to argue that. And the prosecution's going to argue that in court. Well, ma'am, how can she love her if she drowned her? She couldn't have loved her, she drowned her. But then we can ask that question. Can you love somebody but then kill them? That'll be my question on the poll. Because we've heard a lot of people say that who have unalived another human being. Because everything's about the motive, is it not? What's the motive for unaliving a loved one? Do you really love this person and you've killed them? You heard people say this who are married to, who are spouse, spazzed out, crime of passion, went to court, stood trial for second degree, first degree murder, and they've cried on the witness stand saying, I love my husband, I love my wife, but, and some people are going to argue. You couldn't have loved them, you killed them, how could you love them? So the friend said she loved her daughter. She meant the world to her, Piper. Did she love her? That would be the question. And naturally, I hate to even put it in a poll because folks get so offended. Just get so offended about a question. Why? Why would you get offended? Because somebody's asking a question. It's just a question. As I always tell people, questions according to the circumstances, the information, and the commentary from people talking about the story. So I have every right to ask a question because her friends are talking, saying she loved her. You can argue all day if you believe she loved her child or not. There's nothing wrong with asking the question, did she love her? Because that's the whole point. Everybody's interpretation of love is not the same. So I can ask the question, why not? You're entitled to think what you want about the story. You're entitled to believe she loved a child and didn't love a child. You're entitled to believe she's mentally disturbed. You're entitled to believe she was suffering from postpartum. You're entitled to believe she did it deliberately. You're entitled to believe it was a spazzed out moment. Insanity. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm just bringing you the information. I don't know what was going on with this lady, but there are many women who suffer from postpartum depression, and some of them do not unalive their children or hurt their children. So now we got to ask the ultimate question. Did she ever physically abuse the little girl? That is the main source, because that's going to determine how she got to where she got July 13th. Number one, has Brandi ever abused her daughter or any other children? Has she ever threatened to hurt her child? Any other children? Do they have other children? Has anybody else abused Piper? Has Piper been left alone for any given time? Her work schedule. Has or did, Brandi ever leave Piper alone in their apartment or anywhere else? Dropping her off anywhere, a park bench, unattended, in the apartment unattended, in a car unattended. Has she left the child unattended for a period of time, duration? Will we have people coming forward to say they saw a child running around in the night, in the day, unattended at the apartment, walking out crying, looking for her mother, father? What are we going to hear from neighbors about these people? The relationship between Brandi and the husband, the relationship between Brandy and Piper, the relationship between the father and Piper, any other outside entities. Are we also going to hear anything about alcohol abuse, drug usage? We'll just throw it all out there and get it over with. What are we going to hear about Brandy Elliott? Does she have a criminal background? Any type of nefarious deeds done? Accusations against her for child abuse, child neglect? Any CPS reports? Now you see how you can get in the belly of the beast just that fast. Thousands of questions you can ask. So, was she physically abusing her child before this drowning? Did she physically and also mentally abuse the little girl? Because there are lots of ways of abusing children and people. You don't necessarily have to put your hands on a person to abuse them, talk down to them, gaslighting them, making them feel unimportant, ridiculing a person. That's a form of abuse. So how did she talk to the little girl? And what all has she done to the child? We will see what she says. But they need to get her somewhere to be evaluated. I don't know why anybody would want to waste time. She's got to go to court on the 29th. She should already be under the radar talking to somebody and see what is being said. Now, naturally, prosecution always argues whatever the findings are, because sometimes the defense attorney, whoever they hire, will weigh their opinion according to what they think the defense wants to hear, which is not right. It's not right to do either or. But we will see if she'll get evaluated and what the diagnosis will be, and more than likely it'll probably come from a state doctor. We will see what they find. Will they tell us she has more than postpartum depression? She has some other type of mental disease defect. Was she currently taking meds for anxieties, depression? When was the last time she took meds? Was she currently on meds but wasn't taking the meds? Because we have a lot of that going on. People are prescribed meds, but they won't take them because a lot of people say, well, I don't like the way I feel when I take them. I'm out of the loop. I'm down. I can't get up. I'm groggy. I'm sleepy, because a lot of mental meds will make you sleepy. Meds for, anxieties and depression. That's why a lot of people stop taking them. Of course, it's advised that you don't stop taking them, but many people stop taking them because they don't like the side effects of the meds. So was she currently on meds? Was she taking them? Did she stop taking them? Last time she took meds? What happened at that hospital? Because I think that's pivotal to how this incident occurred. What was said in that hospital room between the father, the husband, and the wife? What did he say to her? What did she say to him? Did the doctor give a prognosis that he would need more time in the hospital and maybe she became concerned, delusional? Maybe she spazzed out. Maybe she spazzed out. Maybe she got in that hospital, she saw his state and said to herself, oh, he's not coming out of here no time soon. How am I going to hold us down? See, we don't know what type of financial problems they had. Were all their bills up to par? Was she going to be the sole breadwinner? Was she the sole breadwinner before? Because I don't know if he even had a job before. So I don't even know what got him in the hospital. See, all those things are going to matter pertaining to her state of mind. Who's to say she wasn't the only one working? Now she's holding down a man and a kid working at McDonald's. We already know McDonald's don't pay a lot. What's the most she could be making? $10 an hour? A little bit over $10 an hour? It's not enough to live off of. Especially when you're talking about rent is high as a kite. And rent has ballooned up. Nashville is one of the most expensive places to live in the state of Tennessee. So I won't doubt that the rent's gone up naturally outside of Nashville, just like it has done here in my area. She's probably barely making it, barely living. So you got to count all of that. Financial issues, financial burdens, the reason he's in the hospital, how long he's been in the hospital. Did she get a bad diagnosis of how long he was going to have to stay in the hospital or rehab? Now she's worried. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't do this by myself. I got a kid and I got to take care of him. I got bills. See, we don't know. Did he have insurance, medical insurance, health insurance? What? And then now factor you don't got no help. Ain't nobody to help you. Because so far I haven't heard from a mother, a father, a auntie, a uncle, a grandparent. We got friends talking. That ain't good. This ain't good at all. Where are the family members? Are they even from Tennessee? See, you got to ask that question. And Lord, pray that he don't get a hold of nobody from YouTube. Sweet Jesus. That'd be some new bullshit. As soon as I saw it from Hendersonville, I said, oh, Lord, here we go. Here we go. Let's see who pops up. Riding this donkey train with this man in the hospital. Because folks know they will definitely capitalize off a situation. And that'd be some new drama. So I pray it don't get hyped up into another Sebastian Rogers case scenario, because people are just ignorant out here and they surely don't have no respect for you at all. As soon as I saw Hendersonville in the queue, I said, wait a minute. Please tell me this is another Hendersonville. Hendersonville, North Carolina, or somewhere else. Open it up. Hendersonville, Tennessee. As soon as I saw that news reporter, I knew. I said, oh, this is Tennessee. Here we go. He's so dramatic with the water in the background, talking about the little girl drown. I said, oh, Lord Jesus, help me. Prayers to Mr. Elliott, if that is his last name. Prayers for his safety, his condition, because I don't know all the circumstances for why he is in the hospital. Prayers for a speedy recovery. Prayers that he reaches the goal of the GoFundMe. Naturally, a lot of people will bury children for free. You know, a lot of people don't charge when it comes to burying children. So praying that he gets the child buried, he can get out so he can have a long time with his child before the funeral services, because that's what he desired, and he rightfully so desires some alone time with his child. I pray that, you know, I don't really know how to word it because it's such a horrific situation. I pray that he can move on past this at some point in life, because this will be a lot to digest. Your child is deceased and your wife killed your child. That's a lot to carry around. That's a lot to carry around. Once again, a situation I'm glad I'm not in. Because this is a horrible situation of a child being unalived by her own mother for whatever reason. And then the father is in the hospital. And he has a lot to digest himself, besides the death of the child, the fact that his wife killed his child, but she did it after she left him. So, you know, he's probably sitting up here wondering, well, Jesus, what happened when they left here? Was it something I said, something I did? Is it because I'm in this hospital bed? She took the life of my child? He has to be thinking that, because I'm thinking it, and I'm not even him. And I'm wondering, my goodness, what happened at the hospital? What was said at the hospital? Something happened in that hospital. I'm not saying she didn't have no mental problems. I'm not saying could be a vindictive woman, but something happened at that visit at that hospital, because it's interesting that they would leave there, go home. She's wanting to be alone by herself, sit outside, and hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But I think something was said in that hospital. She saw or heard something that made her blank out to where she felt like she needed to be alone by herself. And then this child is, you know, egging her, and she just flaked out. And if she's flaked out before, did he see the signs something was wrong with his wife years before? So you got to ask those questions as well. Did he talk to her about incidents with the child? Because the incident was mentioned. Nobody's going into detail exactly what happened. So did he talk to his wife? Hey, you know, you can't be doing this. You can't be doing that. Hey, you need to get some help. You need to see a counselor. You need to take your meds. See, we don't know. Wow. What a story. That's my commentary. BRANDI ELLIOT, 33, of Hendersonville, Tennessee, has been charged with first-degree murder of her 7-year-old girl child, Piper Elliott. Husband in the hospital. Has a GoFundMe page. Feel free to donate if you'd like to. Go to the WKRN website. It should be posted there when I get more information pertaining to the state of the husband. funeral arrangements, and the court proceeding pertaining to Brandi, which will be July 29th. I will bring you that said information. Prayers to him and his family and friends and the community. And I pray that that he can just pray for him, because I don't really know how to word this situation with this father. This is a terrible situation to be in. And like I said, it happening of all places in a town where a 15-year-old is still missing, Sebastian Rogers. We have not forgotten about you. Don't have a new update pertaining to the disappearance of Sebastian. No new information that I've heard of. But I just think it's sad. We have two tragedies in one town, one of a 15-year-old boy missing and one now of a drowning of a 7-year-old child. But it goes to show you there are people who are not ready for motherhood, fatherhood. And as I have said many times on this network, yes, there is no guidebook to tell you how to be a good parent. As you heard in this commentary on Court TV, there is no guidebook to show you how to be a good mother or a good father. Same thing with being a child. Everybody's human and everybody's flawed. People make mistakes in child rearing. Also being a child, you're going to make mistakes. That's expected. But you need to know when to reach out for help. And I meant to say that during my last live pertaining to Caleb Harris and Thomas Crooks. If you see that you are having some mental issues, horrible thoughts of harming yourself and others, you need to reach out to a hotline, counselor, or check yourself into the nearest hospital and get yourself help. There is help out there. You do not have to suffer alone if you have anxieties or depression, suicidal and or homicidal thoughts. There is help. You do not have to suffer alone. And that's what people need to understand about depression, anxieties, awkwardness, feeling alone. You don't have to suffer alone. There is help out here. Just call somebody and tell them, I don't feel well. I don't feel good. I feel like hurting myself. I feel like hurting my child, my spouse, or the neighbor, or whomever. Call somebody. Please call somebody. Once again, prayers to Mr. Elliott. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $129 Cash App, stickers and chats are always welcome to the live stream. Thank you for your time. This was live number 2. Feel free to go back to the beginning of this live to get the same information and the sources pertaining to this case. WKRN News Nashville, and also Court TV with the sources for the said information. Also the Tennessean and News 5. I brought you information by article. You all have a wonderful weekend. Stay safe, stay cool, stay hydrated. Check on an elderly person and make sure that they have adequate air conditioning and or a fan. Thank you for your time. You have been listening to The Vault XL.